Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank HifiGo for providing the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro for review. To greatly appreciate it. HifiGo, you rock. Alright, so the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro, this will set you back $260 from your bank account. It is a 4-driver configuration. It has a 10mm titanium dynamic and a 6mm passive radiator for the bass. A 8mm, is it Cermet, Kermit, CERMET, textureless dynamic for the mids, and then a 6.8mm aluminum dynamic for the highs. 3-way physical crossover, 23 ohms of impedance, 111 decibels of sensitivity, and a frequency response range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. The Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro comes in this black box. You get this kind of gearing type of look on the front, a little bit of branding. On the back, you have some specs, and then on one side, it says Binary Acoustics. When you slide off the sleeve, you're greeted by a black box that has a Binary Acoustics on the front. Taking off that, you're going to be given some storage areas for accessories and your IEM. Accessories provided, you get a little storage case and 2 bags of the same tip. Now the tips are all silicone, and you get a small, medium, and large, 2 sets of each, which is an interesting choice. And they're all olive grape shape. These are the tips that I did use all the time. I did not change and use alternate tips. You also get a swappable termination. This is the 3.5, and you also get a 4.4. And then you get this large Pelican case. It says Binary Acoustics on it. It's got a clear top so you can see everything on the inside. A nice locking on the front. Open it up, you have some padding on the inside. A little bit big for a pocket, but definitely will protect your DynaQuattros, and it fits in a bag. And then you have this nice corded carrying loop, which you can remove if you want. And then you get the DynaQuattro. Now the DynaQuattro, let's talk about this cable first. The cable is a love-hate for me. So, connects with 2-pin into the DynaQuattro. It has okay ear hooks. They're not the most tensioned. I do wish I'd had just a little bit more tension to them. A very nice split with a cinch that stays in place. And then it terminates into your 4.4 or 3.5. As mentioned, you have a swappable terminations. And to do that, you just spin the little ring, pull that off, put your new one on, spin it back into place, and it's connected. It's not going to come apart. Very, very easy to change your terminations, and it's locking, which I appreciate. The complaints about the cable, though, are it's a little bit on the stiff side. Now, it's nice and thick, and it doesn't weigh a whole lot, but it's just stiff and tangly. And the from the 2-pin to the split is really bad at tangling. DynaQuattro themselves. So you have the faceplate made of aluminum, and then the rest of the body is resin. Faceplate has that gearing type of design on it, just like the outer sleeve of the package box. Nicely built, and it's a nice, unique look of a faceplate, I think. Something different. The DynaQuattro is rather thick. Has a little bit of a wing on it, some ergonomics on the backside, quite an aggressive angle, and then the nozzle's a little bit on the fat side. Overall, though, the shelf feels good. I have no complaints as far as the look of it, and just it feels quality for its price point. Putting it in your ears, and you immediately notice these are large. And I never really lost the feeling that something's in my ears. Even though they're fairly comfortable, I can wear them for about an hour before they start to get a little uncomfortable and I have to take a break for a few moments and then pop them back in my ears. But I never had that, hey, I don't have anything in my ears. I noticed they're always there. They're rather big. Isolation of outside noises is pretty good. We're probably somewhere about 66% of outside noises being blocked. Around the house, about the only things that I was really able to hear kind of were vacuum cleaners, coffee grinders, that sort of stuff. Pretty much carrying on a conversation or watching TV, unless it was extremely loud, I had to pop one out of my ears so that I could hear what was going on and carry on a conversation. Walking around the neighborhood, only things that really were noticeable were extremely loud vehicles like buses, UPS guy, DHL, that type of stuff. Other than that, I was in my own little world. So they do a pretty good job. Now, if you want better isolation, foam tips did work slightly better. But the build of them is good. The weight of them is all right. Comfort is, and then the overall, just the being able to use them only for like an hour before having to take a break was kind of a little bit of a disappointment. I kind of wish that they were slightly more comfortable. The Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro is not the easiest of IEMs to drive. Even though it is 23 ohms and 111 decibels of sensitivity, they take quite a bit of juice. I was rather surprised at how they kind of sound muddy, bloated, just kind of dull sounding on lower powered gear. But you put them on things that are balanced, especially dongles, things that are balanced, have a little bit more power, and the DynaQuattro comes alive. And they respond even better to DAPs and to desktop. In fact, the DynaQuattro, I prefer to listen to them on desktop versus on portable gear. I found that it responded the best when it had more power given to it. The DynaQuattro is kind of power hungry and does scale with more power and better sounding gear. On desktop, I use them with the Mytek Liberty DAC 2, the FiiO K19, the FiiO K9, the FiiO K11, the FiiO K11 R2R, and many other products. And I just found that desktop-wise, they sounded the best. Hibi R5 Gen 2, I also used it on, and then dongles that it sounded better with were the Fosse Audio DS2, the Moondrop Dawn 4.4, Hibi FC4, and things that had more power. Putting them on something that isn't quite as powerful, and the DynaQuattro sounds a little dull, sounds bloated and muddy in the bass, and just doesn't sound very dynamic. Putting them on better sources opens them up and brings out the bass and cleans it up and helps to add in some sparkle and energy. So how do the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro sound? The bass of the DynaQuattro is what I would say physical. It has a lot of rumble and grumble in the sub bass, and then the mid bass and upper bass, you get this power and this authority and just this lots of punch, slam, and kick. And it has good texture. You can really feel this bass, and it drives it home. It hits hard and powerful. But yet at the same time, it's not really bass head bass. I know this sounds weird because you have a lot of bass and a lot of power and slam, but to me, it is more leaning clinical and technical than it is the overall just fun factor. Even though it is a fun listen, it doesn't quite have that connection like you're looking for with a bass head type of bass, but it has a more of a accurate and true type of bass. Sub bass reaches very well, extends nicely into the sub bass. As mentioned, there's good rumble and grumble. And then the mid bass has the punch, the slam, the kick, and there's good authority throughout. And there's nice control throughout as well. And then the upper bass has nice punch, slam, and kick, but yet does not bleed into the lower mids region. It stays very well controlled. Tone and timbre of the bass is excellent. Everything sounds very natural and true. Everything is reproduced very, very accurately. I was rather impressed at how tonally correct the bass was, even with all of the power and the slam and stuff. It stays very well controlled and very natural. Details also are very good, and it's very well resolved. Everything stays well controlled and is refined, defined, and focused. Going into the mids of the DynaQuattro, they have nice note weight, and like the bass, it has a good amount of impact, and you get this fullness in the mids, and everything sounds accurate and true. I was rather surprised at how it reproduces instruments so well. Very natural sounding, good tone and timbre. And then vocalists have a little bit of a spotlight on them, and everything just plays very well in the mids. It's very natural and very cohesive and very balanced. There's enough sparkle and energy without being too forward and too forthright and being aggressive. It stays well controlled, and then overall the detail retrieval and resolution is like the bass is very good, and everything is refined, defined, and focused in the mids, and you can really dissect the stage and pick things apart. And then going into the treble extends very nicely. There's good air, nice bite, crispness, and edge to things, but yet at the same time, it is not too much. It's not too forward, it's not too aggressive, and the treble is well controlled, and it has an ability to just present in a natural way without being boring and without being too sparkly and too energetic. Everything just reproduces correctly, and I'm rather surprised at how good the tone and timbre was in the treble. It has this pleasurable reproduction. It has this organic reproduction in the treble, and things just sound true. And then the details and resolution, like the mids and the bass, are also very good, and there's nice refined, defined, and focused details without any of the extra too much bitiness, too much crispness, too much shimmery. The lower mids, or excuse me, the upper mids and lower treble regions play well together. They have just enough of the elevation to present and beyond the cusp of too much and not enough. They ride that line of being very well balanced. And then the upper treble has a good amount of air and space without being too much and becoming like shimmery and bright and hot sounding. So the bass, the mids, and the treble play very well together. They're very cohesive and balanced. They have nice authority and power, and there's good note weight. There's this fullness throughout on the bass, the mids, and the treble. Everything just sounds like it's got a little bit of heft to it without being too much. The soundstage of the DynaQuattro is what I would call natural. It has good differences between venue sizes. It shows small, medium, and large, and grand, but yet at the same time, it doesn't do it in an excessive way. It doesn't do it in an exaggerated way. You can tell the differences, and it's not trying to force you into being wide or being small. It changes with each track. So if you hit random as you're listening to music, and it's going in between different types of songs, live, studio, intimate, big, things like that, you can definitely hear the differences. Imaging of the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro is very nice. You can lock on and follow things from side to side. It goes from one side to the other. You can hear enter and exit from side to side. It does a good job of locking on. It's pretty precise in its placement, especially considering the price point. Depth is very nice. You can look into the stage quite far, and then layering also is very good. Everything has its own little place. They're not fighting for attention. They're not crowding in on each other, and they're not so separated out that you're getting that sensory overload. Everything's right where it should be, and you can track things across the stage and go, it's right there, it's right there. Oh, they crossed. Oh, they placed each other. They're in front and behind. Oh, those are spaced in behind, in front of each other. It does a really good job with its staging. I was rather impressed by that. Tone and timbre of the DynaQuattro is very natural throughout. In the bass, the mids, and the treble, everything sounds accurate and true. There's very nice note weight, and there's this fullness, and there's this overall organic type of sound with the tone and timbre. It's a very natural sound without being too warm, without being too thick and full, or being thin. There's just a very balanced presentation of instruments and vocalists. I can't say enough. I'm rather impressed by the tone and timbre of the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro. Detail, retrieval, and resolution. The details are actually quite good. You're not going to miss anything. Everything is there. Is it the most detailed IEM in its price point? I'm not going to make that claim, but it is very nicely detailed. You're going to hear everything that you expect to hear, and the resolution of them is very good. Everything is refined, defined, and focused. There's no harshness, no glariness, no smearing. Everything is resolved very well in a defined, refined, and focused type of way. So the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro, I'm rather impressed. For $260 and being a 4-driver dynamic type of configuration, I really don't have anything that's going to compare to it as far as driver configuration and price point. But one of the IEMs that kind of sounds similar-ish to the DynaQuattro is the Moondrop Kato. Now, the Moondrop Kato does not have near the fullness in the note weight. The Kato is going to be a little bit thinner, a little bit leaner sounding, and also in the bass it's not going to have near the impact and the slam and the punch as the DynaQuattro. Treble wise, it's going to be a little bit more sparkly, a little bit more energetic sounding, and the upper mids are going to be a little bit more forthright on the Kato. Soundstage wise, the Kato does sound a little bit more open, a little bit wider sounding, but it doesn't do quite as good on different sizes of venues. It's not quite as distinct as it is on the DynaQuattro. Tone and timbre, as mentioned, is a little bit thinner sounding, not quite as full. You do not have quite as much note weight on the Kato, even though it is very natural sounding in it. And then detail, retrieval, and resolution. The DynaQuattro is slightly better detailed and a little bit better resolving. So the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. And I'm rather impressed, especially with the tone and timbre abilities of the DynaQuattro, and also the soundstage abilities, and how that it changes between venues and all the imaging and things move around the stage and placement, and it's very accurate and precise. So if you're looking for something different, and you like dynamic sound, and you like a nice, full, natural type of note weight and tone and timbre, I would definitely look at the Binary Acoustics DynaQuattro. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next videos, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells, if you haven't already. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and a thumbs down to the video, and check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you can contact channel, follow channel, support channel, all that kind of stuff. Speaking of supporting channel, I want to thank my supporters through Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you very much for all that you provide to the channel. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, there's links down below for how you can do that. One-time gifts, PayPal, Venmo, and also YouTube options. And then monthly subscriptions through Patreon and YouTube memberships, where you can get access to videos early, and also you can get access to my private Discord server. All you have to do is ask, and there's all kinds of other benefits that pop up randomly. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. You can do it one time or monthly. And then Down below, there's all kinds of other information regarding how you can contact channel, follow channel, gear recommendations, music recommendations, all the kind of stuff is listed down below. So don't forget to check those links out. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music and remember that honesty is the best policy.